Hi guys, Rando Gamer here with the next session of Souls of Steel. This is session 27, and it picks up the tail end of their fight with the Briar Wrath, the light-consuming creature there on Octurne. So they kind of have a little bit of RP to end off their first shift, and then they get their first kind of down period. So they have about, it ends up being like 36 hours of downtime. Before going back on shift again. They kind of do a little bit of planning, some lore drops as well, specifically from Delilah's dipping into precog sort of abilities. And then they go out to start their next shift, and the session ends with their next encounter, essentially, before which we'll get into in the next session. But overall, some really good RP this session. Definitely some character development for Delilah and T. T kind of dealing with some PTSD with the planet itself, but overall, great session. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to stay up to date with my videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, here is session 27 of Souls of Steel. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining. This is session 27 of Souls of Steel. In our last session, the party had arrived at the shipyards on Octurne, and we had just walked out of the ship to be greeted by Ronan Steele, one of the known members of the Inner Circle. A couple of our members were able to get some really high rolls on some of the particulars of the Iskeri race, which is known to be from Akaton, which is like the equivalent of Mars for this solar system. This is more or less the Pact Worlds version of a lizard folk, and you guys got all in the weeds of like their race basically has to
their
mate.
Mating cycle or whatever.
Yeah, so their race has to mate by around their 20s, otherwise they'll be driven mad and become like these wild, like crazy nightmare creatures on Akaton. Their societies actually ran by their females, so seeing a male in such a high level position is very indicative of his qualities. And they were kind of specifically with Delilah and Raya that were picking up on this, and they were able to kind of gauge that he's probably close to this period of time where he's going to need to mate. Since he doesn't have sort of like the more aggressive nature to him at this point in time, he still has a window, but like basically it seems like he's a ticking time clock before he's going to need to mate. Otherwise, he'll be driven mad, sort of thing.
So they'd seen a male in that much power. Can be assumed that he is, well, procreated many times.
He hasn't hit the age to procreate yet, because once you procreate, males become what they call brood minders, and they basically take care of the young, and that's their whole life purpose after that. So basically, what it indicates is that at a young age he showed promise, and he was able to rise because he's like early 20s, if even that, at the moment, and in a high level of the council.
Right.
Wow. Basically, Ronan then kind of gave you the spiel of how things operate here. It was pretty much basically a military setup. Like, there's like 15 to 20 ships in the shipyards currently that are being constructed. But outside of that, the site had a military barracks, which is kind of like sleeping arrangements. There was a chow hall and a workout area. And that's basically the end. It was basically a square compound for that. Like, he even recommended like just going back to your ship to rest, because you're going to have better amenities on the ship than anything on the site. He then also cued you in on that you guys are going to operate in 12-hour shifts. So it'll be like a 12 on, 12 off sort of cycle. With your guys' bodies on the ship, you should be able to do like a 12 on, 24 off sort of thing. But it's still going to be high tempo, essentially. He did recommend that you guys should have 6 people on shift at any given time, just for strength in numbers. And then he told you that you guys would have a few hours before your first shift, and he would be joining you for that first shift to kind of like make sure you had an understanding of how things work. John and the crew had kind of asked a little bit on what to expect, like if there's anything they should be really scared of. And Ronan had warned specifically of a ghostly apparition that feeds on light. and that they have to use a special weapon when fighting that. And he's hopeful that they don't encounter it because it's pretty rough whenever they do.
Little did he know we were the adventuring party that needed a sufficient challenge.
The group had a brief discussion on their initial impression of Ronan, and it was kind of decided that, at least at the moment, they were kind of indifferent. The consensus was kind of more or less of like the life that he's led has been rough, so like he's harder on the edges, but like you can tell that he's the betterment of his society and those around him seemed to be the impression they were getting. So like kind of along the lines of what you guys had researched before, as far as like inner circle members go, he seemed to like be justified in why he was part of the inner circle the most.
Sure.
From there,
Well, Oppenheimer still created the atom bomb, so.
well, he did try to shut it down after the fact. John had done a bit of research on the swarm, Ichor, and the atmosphere, basically just trying to find any sort of weakness he can exploit, and making plans on like trying to create some weapons for this upcoming battle. We had jumped over to Delilah briefly, where it was becoming apparent that Delilah was enamored with the Ichor and was contemplating continuing to microdose on it. Partly, as we'll see later, is meta-wise, it was a path to potentially dipping into some precog abilities.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Because like when she drank it, she like had visions of her parents that were not memories she had herself.
I love flavorful multi-classing.
I was probably excited for tonight's session just because of the pre-college.
Yeah, so was I. I may or may not have written an entire page. After this, the party had met up with Ronan for their first ship. He made a point of stopping at the armory and reminding the party to stop here every time they go on shift, and picked up a big gun. Kind of looking at it, it looked almost like a grenade launcher because it's shooting canisters like this big out of the end of it.
Oh, it was like a little thunk.
Yeah, definitely a thunk type of weapon. At the time, the party didn't know exactly what it was. They'd never seen it before.
Was that not the sound thing, or was it? I don't remember what it was.
It's light, but
light. That's
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Nope. As you guys had gotten outside, you'd seen that the atmosphere was actually pretty clean, but you could see that the bubble went about 40 feet out, which on the playmat there is that black line. So that's basically there's a light bubble over the whole compound to about 40 feet out, and that's also about where the light makes it. I think we had said it was about bright light up to about 15 feet, and then after that it switched to dim light, and by the time you get to this section here, it was complete darkness, at least the time of day on Octurne. But remember, even at the height of the day on Octurne is basically twilight equivalent on any other planet. So,
these barricades, is that the bounds of the camp, or is that just...
Those are legit barricades that you can use out front of the... So, how I have this position right now, where like John and TR, is just outside the entrance to the compound, and they have barricades to help with defense.
Are they movable, or they're in place?
They're in... I would say they're movable if you put a lot of effort in. Think of like D-Day, where it's like the little... Yeah. They're heavy, so it's like steel.
Got you.
So they're about waist height. So if you're standing directly behind them, it gives you about 50% cover. And mechanic-wise, if you guys remember, Starfinder rules this is if they roll a success on hitting you, then they roll a percentile die to see if it actually hits. It'll either hit you or hit the barricade.
I see.
So like the barricade can get destroyed over time if it takes enough damage, but standing straight up, 50%. If you were to like get over it where your gun's just over, that's 75. And if you were to go prone, you could technically get 100% if you're within that box right there where the barricade's at.
Okay.
But if you're standing further back than that, that's whenever it's like you're not getting the full benefit of the cover because they got the angle of attack essentially. Where was I? Yeah, so the lights basically kind of dies around where the bubble ends. So it seems almost like the bubble also is trapping in the light from the compound, so that it doesn't extend past the bubble. And then they could hear a water source, but they couldn't quite make out where it was coming from. On this particular shift, they decided to bring Rejuvenor and Hargrove. So it was a couple of the NPCs filling in for our missing players. John basically just wanted to get some of his research in, so he had asked about some of the environmental hazards on the planet. Ronan had pointed out that taking this approach of trying to use the environment as potential weapons, since it's known that the Swarm don't like the planet, he mentioned that it won't help in the upcoming battle as much unless they're able to pierce the holes of the ships, because the ships themselves aren't susceptible to environmental damage unless you pierce the hole. John sort of like into that whole like conspiracy theory thing, thinks that it's Ronan or the Inner Circle's fault that this is a problem, not like really contextualizing that this has always been a problem with starships. But moving on, John had then kind of gone out to the edge of the bubble because he wanted to kind of like get some samples of the environment. Talking it over with Delilah and Riley for a little bit, they weren't really all about it, but John does it anyways. He tied a rope around himself to go out and kind of have a safety line. And it became very apparent almost immediately how toxic the environment is.
Yeah. All my systems are like, danger, danger.
Real quick, did you guys see the message in chat I sent? Because it's not pulling up for...
It's not pulling up for us. In the thing? The shop?
I believe I did. Yeah,
Oh,
there's one there.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the one from T. We just didn't get the one from...
It's the same. I don't know why it didn't send from me.
Sorry, continue.
But yeah, so John basically had the benefit of being an android, so it seemed to be a little bit slower with affecting him. But his systems immediately were notifying him of a bunch of unknown substance and everything.
Danger! So I just sent out instantly.
John then tried to test whether or not they would actually pull him back on the rope and plays wolf. Cries wolf. And
Cries wolf, and I pulled him on the rope.
And they both are like, he's probably fine. We'll give it a minute.
I'm just standing there touching on the rope.
Windows is not responding. Please wait.
Eventually he like walks back like, what the hell? Like, did you not see you be pulling the rope? And they're like, oh, so you were fine. And he's like, fine, all right, and then goes back out.
Oh well. Also, I asked the freaking Raya and Delilah, which are famously known members of being very strong, to pull me back in any sort of emergency.
Yeah, the android adamantium body. But he had managed to get a sample of the atmosphere, and then he'd gone back out and went all the way because there was an Ichor river in the distance, so he ended up getting like a liter of Ichor from the river, as well as seeing a like poison tumbleweed sort of. It's basically like it's a poison gas cloud, but it moves across the environment like a tumbleweed. So you got a sample of that as well before coming back. During this second excursion is also whenever he kind of like tried to look out a little bit further in the distance, and he saw some like weird mirage oil slick type of blur in the distance. And he could tell that it seemed to like be moving, but he couldn't pinpoint if it was the environment playing tricks on him or not. And unfortunately, this is about the time where his systems failed to be able to like filter out the environment, and he started to have hallucinogenic sort of like apparitions appearing. So he like fired off like shots with his gun and ran back in. And so he was a little paranoid after that for a little while. They make it back to Ronan, who then kind of comments on like he feels that everybody should experience the true Octurne environment once, but doesn't recommend it on a reoccurring basis. And about this time, Karsai, the Ichor King, had reached out to the group
Oh,
and
yes.
was successful in making contact with Raya and Delilah. And he had warned them about something that is coming for them that he wasn't able to stop, and that he recommends to fight like their life depends on it, because it definitely does. Unfortunately, no one's able to make out the creature before it makes its attack, but essentially beams of light directed at every member of this excursion party. It's directed at them, and it nails Ronan in the chest, kind of knocking the wind out of him, and it hits Hargrove, doing about half his health in a single attack.
Yeah.
Hargrove.
That's the sexy one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Raya was hit with this as well,
Yes.
doing a decent amount of damage.
I remember it was gnarly.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
it almost got her into hit points.
Yeah.
Off
I
of
was
one.
gonna say, like you said, lost half health, and like it went through stamina.
Well,
Jeez.
Hargrove is an NPC, so he doesn't have stamina points. So yes, it did do half his health. But I mixed it up because Hargrove gets hit later. We'll get there in a minute. Raya and Ronan were the only ones that took this initial target.
Sure.
At which point, John is able to drag Raya kind of into safety. Ronan clearly had fear in his eyes and calls for like spotlights. So you see like the lights that were in the compound turned around to blare out in this direction, which had basically made it bright light all the way to the end of the bubble at that point instead of low light.
To the left side of the map, if you're looking on the chat.
And basically tells them to cover for him as he like whipped out the big weapon at that point and started loading it and basically asking for them to help him with being able to line up a shot.
Oh yeah. He had to like charge it up like the Spartan laser.
Okay.
Everybody had kind of taken full advantage of the barricades at this point, and they started having a fight with a creature that had hit them from 120 feet out. John, at this point, was the only one that could really see it because he had dark vision. I think we established later on that Delilah should have also been able to see this, but essentially he could see this like kind of reminiscent of Ghost Freak. It's in the NPC art on. Yeah, so it's
one of the best transformations, if you ask me.
Yeah, until it took over the Omnitrix.
You're talking about the Ben 10, yes, the Ben 10 guy.
Yeah, so it looked. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe did I just throw it in the regular chat?
Potentially.
Yeah, that creature right there.
Yeah, that checks out.
And basically the fight had kind of proceeded with that. It took Ronan getting three successful shots with this light caster cannon. So essentially it shoots out a canister that explodes into a plume of like light. This creature though consumes light, so it seemed as a means of kind of like appeasing its appetite to get it to leave instead of consuming the lights of the facility. But its attacks hit hard. I think John, one of the tinkiest guys in the group, ended up getting down to just single digits before getting into hit points.
Yeah.
It had taken Hargrove down to about half health, so like he was bleeding out for a little bit. Even Rejuvenor had had to take a knee at a point and kind of back out because of how much damage the creature had done. Eventually, they had landed enough shots on it that it had kind of like yelled out and had used an ability that kind of like blinded in colors that people aren't even familiar with, like the mind couldn't comprehend, which had caused Rejuvenor to go blind.
Oh yeah.
So at the moment Rejuvenor is blind, the creature had then disappeared, or at least gone invisible, because John was able to pick up that there was like movement, but it seemed to lead away from the compound. And the shift, before the shift had ended, Ronan had made a comment about it seeming to become resistant to the weapon that they've been using.
Oh boy.
That previously it had only taken 2 shells to get it to turn away, and now it's taking 3.
So it's like, yeah.
And that's more or less where we're picking up. So it's the tail end of your guys' shift. Let me switch
What
over.
music have we been listening to?
It's Legends Zone,
Oh,
lo-fi.
oh, man, I'm really excited about this pre-COD stuff, my love. So I hope you are ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment there's not really any threats, so I'll kind of open it up for any potential RP to close out your guys' shift. I would say you guys have probably about 2-ish hours left on your first shift. T, for the sake of brevity, we could say that an alarm went off, and this would go for you as well, Elite. That an alarm went off, so you guys end up coming out towards the tail end of this to kind of join up with the group.
Okay.
But other than that, I will turn it over to you guys for any potential
I would
RP.
say that T at this point, even in high stress situations, is still retained a level of calmness or even coyness. But in this specific environment, looks shaken.
Yeah, because this.
Oh, that was the other thing I played into. Is Hargrove was missing about 50% of his shots, and it was kind of a question of whether or not he's suffering from PTSD being back here on this planet.
Yeah. So real quick, long rests. How does that work with stamina?
Long rests regen all stamina.
But not hit points if you
Hit
lost
points is your character level, is how many you regen each long rest.
Okay. So,
Unless you do a full 24-hour rest. If you do a full 24-hour rest, you get 2 times your character level.
next question. This is the end of our shift?
Yeah, so you guys haven't had a long rest yet.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. I'm at 15 stamina points, by the way. Out of 70.
Yeah. And to be honest, with T arriving on scene, I'm not too worried because T can revive hit points. So.
I would like to go find Rejuvenor.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to find, afterwards, I would like to talk to Delilah.
Okay.
T goes to speech and it comes up as almost like a shudder instead. Kind of looking at it, like, can you describe his current form, like what his body looks like after the attack?
Let me look at my notes.
Hargrove?
No, T or Rejuvenor.
Oh. Yeah, dude, Reggie got hit, man.
Yeah, let me.
He got the endless treatment.
Let me look at what what type of attack you got hit with, so I can.
I added points into survival and athletics.
Nice.
Oh, he got hit with a bunch of swipes. So you'll see on his chest, there's deep gashes along the front from the creature. As you kind of saw, it was kind of like the dark, spindly, sort of knife-like long fingers. Is essentially what he got hit with. So there's just deep gashes across his chest.
T goes to try to cast the spell, and immediately sees one of his cadets bleeding out.
And starts to just...
I'm going to try to cast the remove condition.
T at this point would know... Oh, yes, the blind. Is blind covered in that one? I don't want to chip you, because I know...
No. Yeah, because lesser condition doesn't do it. Remove condition does frightened, nauseated, paralyzed, shaken, sickened, or staggered. Oh, not blindness. Okay. If the condition is the result of a disease or another ongoing effect, the spell removes the condition, but does not cure the ongoing effect.
Well, how does... Wait, what? So,
Or Rejuvenor is temporary dazzled. So if dazzled was one of those...
Yeah, this still wouldn't work.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to cost you. So I would say T is familiar enough with the type of condition that Rejuvenor's suffering that you would know that you wouldn't be able to resolve it.
Only adding to his shaken visage, trying to go through his allotment of spells to see what he can do to help, is instead just going to toss a second level Mystic Cure.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll me However much dice you get.
3d8.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
For the stats at the end of the session, because
Is it plus anything?
That is plus wisdom. He heals 14 health points.
oh, nice. Yeah, that's a pretty sizable chunk because I think he took around like 30-ish damage from a single strike.
Wow.
Rejuvenator will look at you. Whew. How long did you guys defend on this planet?
How long was it?
The expression in T's eyes is almost empty. I don't remember.
Because I know this is a 12-hour shift, but fuck.
We didn't have shifts for Juvenile.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I can see why they were paying as many credits as they were for people to come out here. If anything, it's actually a low ball.
I'm on this ship for Juvenile, thank you. And he's going to try to...
You're like on the nice edge.
He has the thought of trying to ease the tension of his crew, but all he can see is the dead bodies of his failed crew. And just goes to watch at the barricades instead.
Just stay at the barricades? At the end of the shift?
Yeah, the last couple hours.
Oh, okay.
You said you wanted to find Delilah?
Yes, please.
Yep.
So, our encounter with the apparition was at the end of the shift, or we still
towards the tail end. So
okay,
I think
so
we said I think we said it showed up a little over halfway through the shift.
Okay.
So I'm speeding through a little bit. So you guys probably have closer to like 5-ish, almost 6-ish hours left on the shift.
Would you say after that encounter? So we're technically still on call, but we have some breathing room, is what you're allowing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm basically saying another encounter is not going to happen during the shift.
I didn't want to be meta about it. That's why I was
yes,
wondering.
I had already set it up with you guys have. This is a more for RP at this point.
Okay.
No threat of an encounter. It seemed like from the gist you've gathered is most of the other creatures are scared of the one you just faced. So you feel like it coming and leaving has given you guys a little bit of breathing room because of that.
So if Sarah was here, I would have a moment with Riot. So it just has a passing moment.
Mm-hmm.
I want, like, John doesn't feel guilty that Riot got slammed the way that she did, but he definitely senses his role in the group as like the protector. So he'll just make sure she's good, and obviously he did what he could to get her out of harm's way, but just sort of make sure she's all patched up or whatever. And but then I'll look for Delilah, so wherever she's at.
Yeah. For Raya specifically, I won't speak for her on how she would kind of respond to that.
Sure.
But you can tell, similar to Ronan, it more or less just knocked the wind out of her.
Right.
She didn't dip into health points, so like it doesn't look like she's going to have
any. More of the visual of it.
Yeah,
all.
like it seems like she might be a little shell shocked from like the intensity of this conflict because for the most part, you guys haven't had an encounter where she's necessarily been at risk. It's usually been someone else in the front line.
Right.
So it is driving home that like there are some creatures that are strong enough to really get deep.
Or intelligent enough.
I guess I didn't describe this. So for Elite and T, the creature had started at 120 feet and it was moving 40 feet at a time. And
was fast.
It made it to about here.
And we're trying. And our job is to make sure it doesn't get past this point.
Or specifically just to get into the compound.
In
but
general,
like,
but yeah,
I'm going to say T is actually going here instead.
Sure. Anyways, Delilah, where would you be at this point in time when I approach you?
Are we like still outside the ship, or we reconvened inside?
you guys are still outside the compound.
We're like
You're still technically on shift. Just the threat
Is no longer.
As far as you can tell, is non-existent. So you're kind of like recouping, but you're still finishing out your 12-hour shift.
Okay, I remember we were kind of like on the outskirts towards where the lights kind of end, so I
Yeah.
need to go back towards like the middle of the compound, and just kind of like make my rounds, kind of walk loose circles, and keep an eye on the edges type thing.
Yeah, so I'll just look around for her, and when I finally clock her, I'll just do like a little sprint to catch up.
Like the half jog.
Yeah, the whole. Hello, Delilah. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Well, I guess I'm doing just fine. I know we faced some pretty scary things, especially that one time when we fought that thing that was fused with an engine or something like that. But that was a pretty serious threat, and I took a big punch. And I just wanted to make sure you were doing okay.
Yeah, I'm a little shaken. I know we were kind of warned about it, but you never really realized how bad a threat is till it's right in front of you. So, I'm okay.
So John very much is not a people person and would not necessarily pick up on cues. But is there any sort of outward appearance that has changed about you that would reflect any sort of precogness, or do you just like look like normal Delilah?
I don't think I've like done enough doses for it to be like obvious unless I'm like actively
Okay.
taking it.
Yeah, I'll step in at this point of like, if you want to play into some like lingering from your first dose, by all means. My envision was the RP after the shift was what was going to kind of build into the whole precog stuff.
That's
But
fine.
I don't want to take it away if you were thinking it was already active, Delilah.
I wasn't necessarily thinking that. For
And
sure.
shame on me. I was meditating
You're
a
excited.
little bit. I'm sorry. I'll walk with Delilah for like maybe another 5 minutes and not really say much. Before I kind of, without looking down at her, just kind of now just patrolling with her, say, so, I mean, I don't want to point out the big ass elephant with a pirate hat in the room, but and I'll just kind of point out that T is just sort of like staring blankly into the darkness.
Yeah, it's one of those you're not discreet, but T's so out of it that he doesn't notice.
He's like literally wearing it on his sleeve right now. And I'll just sort of like look at him and point that out as we are making our rounds.
Do you think we should try to snap him out of it?
To be honest, that's not really something I'm good at, but I have an idea. If I do this, and you see the tip of my finger folds up, and a little tiny little taser effect comes out of my fingertip.
I don't think that's the best idea. I think this is what you're
And then you
not.
activate your elongated arms.
Yes, honestly, this is probably a better job for you or Raya to, if I'm going to be really like realistic here.
Alright, well, try to keep your shenanigans to a minimum while we go chat with him.
I don't do anything that is categorized as shenanigans, and I turn away to find shenanigans. That's it for me.
So I'm gonna walk up to T and like tap his shoulder lightly and
T
be like,
jumps
T,
at
are you
you.
okay?
T jumps and like bares his fangs at you. Oh,
Like a partial care informed transformation.
Ooh, partial. That's cool.
T, are you aware of this? Are you there?
yes. What can I do for you?
You just don't seem like you're doing too hot. You're just kind of staring, and that one part of you that you're still trying to figure out just kind of showed itself. But not fully, so I was wondering if you were in control of it a little bit more. But anyway, just making sure okay.
I don't think I'm okay.
Well, what's going on?
I need to be here to face what I could not face before. And when I was here last, I was not strong enough to save the people that had my trust, or that had trust in me. So I must stay vigilant here. But I'm terrified.
Yes, that seems pretty scary. So you've lost people here before?
T will continue to turn his gaze from you and keep that blank expression looking into the nothing.
Alright, well, do we need a signal if you need address help?
I will let you know, I promise.
Okay.
I was going to argue that this is very vulnerable T right now.
Sorry.
I'm not trying to.
Space and walk away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to stonewall you.
Yeah.
You're a soldier with PTSD, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is very realistic RP for the circumstances. So, as far as the rest of the ship goes, it is fairly uneventful. I mean, aside from like the normal undulation of like the planet itself, there's still that like trickle of water. So unless someone was really wanting to hoof it around the side of the complex to maybe try and get a gander at it.
Okay. I'm sorry. If it can be brief, I will be brief.
No, it's good. Anybody else wanting to partake with John on this excursion?
I want to explore. So I'll take Hargrove with me if he's down for it.
Yeah, Hargrove would go, although Hargrove doesn't have dark vision, so he's going to be a little bit limited.
It's okay. He's more so that I feel nice. You know?
Take the sexy Lishard with you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Before you head out, well, I guess how far out?
I won't be leaving the barrier, right?
Unless you want to. So that this is a whole John. So the way I described it is, so it's a big ass square complex that houses about 15 to 20 starships. So like it's pretty expansive. But you have about 45 feet from the wall to the bubble. So there's 40 feet of like usable space around the entire exterior. So the bubble itself looks not square, but it covers.
It fits the shape of the compound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus the compound plus 40 feet out.
And the location you're referring to is outside the bubble?
The water source itself is outside the bubble as you make this excursion, but you would be able to see it with your dark vision.
Okay, well, if it's, I take it back if it's outside of the bubble. I'll say that for another time.
Okay.
I'm going to create a telekinetic bond with John, but it only works while he's within 30 feet. So I'll just keep that active.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to take. I didn't.
He's retconning, but
yeah, I'm retconning just because I didn't realize I didn't want to. I had fun doing that last time.
I'm still just going to keep this active passively with members that are within 30 feet.
Perfect.
When I am in between, like when you like try to read my mind when I don't have any active thoughts, because I'm a machine, I don't have active thoughts. You hear like elevator music. It's like yeah,
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Okay. Any other RP for the last like 6-ish hours of the shift? Fairly uneventful. There, like I said, the planet itself is undulating. There's the sound of like a body of water that no one's familiar with at the moment. But other than that, aside from like the unsettling nature of the planet itself, it's fairly uneventful.
I'm going at nearly every rustle or sound in the darkness. T is going to be very alert, almost to a
Vigilant.
no. More of an anxious point.
Yeah, like this, not schizophrenia, but
he is on
paranoid.
edge.
Paranoid. Yeah.
He lights up a cigar and is just going to almost unblinkingly stare into the dark.
For RP flavor, I will disassemble my boomer rifle and reassemble it a couple of times.
Perfect. I guess Rodent Steel is out here if anybody is wanting to
I don't
use
want
that
to
as
fuck with Rodent Steel.
or get information.
Didn't
But
he get hit by something?
he did. He seems to be fine.
Yeah,
he's
fine.
he's also a soldier, so it knocked the wind out of him whenever he got hit, but he kind of tanked it. So, anything from Riot or not Riot, Delilah or Elite?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, not really.
All right. As your guys' shift ends, it's kind of like the equivalent of Free Dawn on Octurne, but like I said, the height of light on the planet is about twilight, so it's kind of like that 3 or 4 a.m. where you think you might see some light on the horizon, and that's about the extent of it.
Right.
So you guys everybody's kind of cognizant of this point of your sense of time on this planet is going to be incredibly hard to piece together because it seems to almost always be dark.
Talking about jet lag.
As you guys start making your way back in, and I failed to describe this on your guys' during the recap, but the gate that opens is a series of about 6 foot wide, blast doors. So basically, it's about 20 feet thick of a series of several different doors that all open. I want everybody to give me a will save.
Whoa!
T and Elite, you guys can make this one advantage. Because you weren't out in the...
Are you talking...
will save. I had it listed as wisdom, and then I recalled that there's only actually 3 types of saves in Starfinder.
Yeah, that throws me off, too. Where's the save? Oh, will save.
No shot. Okay, that's 2 nat 20s, DM.
No
Oh!
way!
So that is...
How do you explain that narratively?
So that is a 31. Can I get some context as to what I'm saving for?
Essentially, this save is determining whether or not people are going to start hallucinating from experiencing this whole climate and everything. So, the undulations and everything like that.
T is already experiencing his own nightmare, and it supersedes what is being...
It supersedes whatever is actually going on. I rolled a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Okay. DC's only 10, so... Delilah.
My inner demons are more...
25.
Perfect. Elite?
Is this technically mind affecting?
Yes, right?
Then also dirty 20.
Okay. Oh, because you get a bonus for mind affecting stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And it's a fruit wine.
Shit.
So as you guys are coming in, no one's affected at the moment, but you could kind of get the sensation that extended periods of time with this type of environment could drive someone crazy. John, you know that the added effect of breathing in the atmosphere could compound this because you've experienced the environment driving it. So essentially what would have happened if you guys had failed is what John had experienced last session, where he starts seeing things that aren't there, and it starts playing with just your ability to differentiate what is actually a threat and what is just non-existent errors, essentially.
Wow.
Following this, you guys kind of just get into your downtime. So you have about 24 hours of downtime at this point to rest, recover, do anything else. So we're going to open it up to additional RP. Before that, I'm going to kind of describe how we're going to continue this whole Octurne arc. For the shipyards, more or less what will happen is we'll kind of have your guys' 12-hour shift, 24-hour down period, and we'll kind of repeat. I'm going to roll off of a table what essentially will happen during your guys' shift. Any creature encounters if you luck out and nothing happens. And we're going to kind of work this throughout the end of like all the ships being built. At the moment, you're predicting about 46 days until the arrival of the swarm.
Oh, that's still. I know that's so far away, but it's not.
That doesn't necessarily mean how long you have to be on Octurne. It really depends on how the shipyards progress. So if you guys are doing well with defending the compound, in theory, the ships should be able to be completed in a faster period of time.
Right.
Sorry, can you repeat that first part? I have to respond.
We have 48 days before the
So there's 46 days until the swarm arriving.
Sorry.
How we're going to play this out is basically we're going to have periods of you guys being on your 12-hour shift and then a 24-hour downtime of potential RP moments and kind of repeating that cycle. During your guys' shift, I'll be rolling off a table to determine what you potentially encounter or if it's just a RP shift where like nothing happens, you guys are just out there. Each shift will end with this save, the DC increasing over time.
Gotcha.
And that's more or less how this arc is going to progress. With that being said, you guys are now in a 24-hour down period. So whatever RP you guys would like. We'll go around the table, but if there's anybody that would like to start with what they would like to do during this 24 hours, we'll just start there.
I took advantage of being first last time. I'll wait.
Okay.
I would like to pull in my crew that is actively participating in the events.
Yeah, so what we'll say is
We brought all of them, didn't we?
you technically have your whole crew.
Yeah.
So Oscar,
Hargrove.
yeah, you have Grim Reaper Tides, Oscar,
The
Filomeno.
bug guy.
Yeah, well, they're all.
Well, I know, but the mantis-looking dude. The
Yeah, so you
guy.
have. And some of these guys just went on ship to cover the next shift. So you had Filomeno Fuming Zeph, who was who's a Solarian, and I'll drop these in the NPC art here shortly. You've got Grim Reaper Tides, who is he's an operative, and he's kind of like the ant sort of looking people. Tusuke is here, not part of your crew, but is currently on shift. And then some other just random mercenaries are filling the rest of that crew. So the ones that are currently unavailable, at least for the first 12 hours, are Oscar and Filomeno. But you can pick them up on the second 12-hour period, which kind of fits if you were going to do an 8-hour rest.
Sure.
So at this point, you guys, for those that need to heal, we would say you've had a long rest, so you can go ahead and activate the long rest, resetting spell slots, all that jazz.
Oh, good.
And then we go from there. I would also say, whether or not you've included Glarb in your crew, he is officially free captains.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Well, the free captains that either came with me or are new additions, I'm going to pull together in a quick all-hands meeting.
Perfect. Elite, would you like to join during this? Because you mentioned potentially wanting to join the free captains.
I'm not excluding anybody who wants to join.
I was just going to say, generally, I'm going to go work out. I'll meet with free captain peeps. And then I'm also wondering, do they have like some sort of market or something here?
Unfortunately not. That was one of the things that was kind of the deciding point before you guys arrived on the planet was anything you wanted to purchase
Do it now.
kind of needed to happen before you came to Octurne. The only weapon that seems to be freely given out is the Lightcaster, but you turn it in at the end of each shift to the armory because it is the main deterrent from that light-consuming entity.
Okay. Sounds good.
So as we are gathering all the members of the group, T makes it a point to not be the one standing and like to meet everybody at the same level. Like, it's kind of like a diplomatic type of feel.
Yeah, Hargrove kind of catches on almost immediately and will be one of the first ones to sit down to kind of like join in. And It's kind of awkward for Oscar just based off of his physiology, but like he'll kind of like take a relaxed position, and Filomeno will sit down.
And Elite, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I won't speak for Elite. Elite can.
Oh, I thought he said he wanted to join.
Yeah, Elite. That's what I'm saying is he's joining. I'm not going to talk for him because
Right.
Elite is Ryan,
Right,
a player character.
Right, my bad. Sorry.
If everybody else is sitting down, then I'll sit down. But
It's not a requirement. It's to help ease tension. Is all the intent was. So T will pipe up in a like not changing his tone of voice to not hide his emotion. I was hoping and maybe dreaming that we would never have to come back here. And I had hoped that coming back to this godforsaken planet, things may have been better. But the horrors we've already witnessed. We've only been here for about a day, like, at least in the camp, right?
Well, almost a couple of days. Right? We got here
You've
early.
had about at the point that you're having this conversation, it's been just over 24 hours at the site. Total on Octurne, you guys have had almost 2 days between the Ichor King and now.
At just past the day point of us beginning our work detail here. I am having a hard time keeping my wits about myself. I fear the shadows that lurk in the darkness. And I once thought that dreams are a place where we can be safe. That the things that we aspire to give us some kind of hope for the future. But over this last watch I was on, nightmares are dreams too. But just like a dream, it passes. I want you all to know that regardless of the fear that I feel, I will be damn sure that if anyone dies here on this planet, it will be only myself.
You'll see the Conquistador crew take a deep inhale. Hargrove, one of the big ones before Captain. We're all in this together. I know the saying is that the captain is the one to go down with the ship. But this crew would never leave you alone.
The only reason why I say what I said, I have lost your trust, and this is where I may earn it back or not at all.
You never lost anything from us. You lost yourself for a period of time. But we were always there.
We are a team. We are in a place where sacrifice is required. Take your time to rest as you need, but spend just as much time preparing for the worst, because the worst is yet to come. I would like to welcome all of you, or those of you who have not met Elite. He's recently joined the Revengers. He will make a great addition to our team.
Yeah, that battle armor there looked pretty fucking fancy. It's nicer than most of the equipment we had on the Conquistador.
T knows to say something, but can't bring himself to say anything else.
Anything from you, Elite?
Maybe his friend showed up.
No. Sorry, my friend came.
No, you're good.
Oh man,
It's a little dry, so
I love it. That's,
Oh no.
that is literally my favorite.
that's Anastasia didn't like it, so it's basically a free
my
bottle
least
for me.
favorite. We'll see it on show. I'm sorry.
Delilah, anything for you during this 24-hour
Here we
period?
go. What do you do with the 24-hour period?
I can't remember. Did you show me the Ichor that you got from the river?
I think I gave it to you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm blanking. I know for sure he mentioned that he got quite a bit. You still had the vial of liquor from the Ichor King's court, but you are at least aware of the leader. I'll leave it to John to decide whether or not he gave it to you or
I'll
not.
say I'll have DM want a large enough sample that I could run multiple tests on.
I
but
think
I'll
that's
give
what we
her the
decided.
rest.
You gave her part of it. Is
Okay.
what?
I'll give her like
Headcanon.
3/4 of it.
Okay.
What? 3 quarts? Wait, there's 2 quarts in a liter. Oh, fuck.
No, leaders metric
Liters
versus
British stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I gave her most of it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna go up to John, and tell. So John,
Yes.
I want to experiment with this Ichor stuff, but I feel like it'd be dangerous to do it unsupervised. So, do you want to keep an eye on me while I test this out again?
Are you asking me to be your trip sitter?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Also, I'm probably the best person to ask because my parents literally has an empire selling illegal substances. So let's do it.
Alright. You really make me feel better about that decision.
No, you should totally keep doing what you're doing.
So I'll just go to the room that we can change and turn it into this,
the hollow room.
yeah, and turn it into almost like a spa meditative environment type
Like
thing.
big square pillows that you sit on.
Yeah, dim lights, relaxing music,
Candles.
maybe some tea.
Tapestries.
Yeah, there's some incense burning in a corner.
Yes. There's a mystic ball also somewhere.
Yeah, maybe a hot tub. I don't know. And I'm just gonna have my little file with me, and I've realized like just a little dip of a claw is just enough. So I'm gonna dip my claw and
Do a little
taste
bump.
it.
Just a little bump of Ichor.
My love, did you see that death that Tucker put in the chat?
Yeah, I just looked at it.
Okay. I'm not going to do a save on this one because it is an intentional.
And you
chose this.
like when she starts to take the dose, I'm just like doing this.
But the difference between your last dose and this one is, while it forced you to convulse and everything because like your body was innately trying to fight it, you going in with the intentional mindset of what to expect and everything it's kind of like a slipping into it sort of thing. You still have like the eyes roll back, so it's kind of like the whites of your eyes is all that's showing, but it's kind of like you almost have enough wherewithal to like kind of feel your way down into the seat as it like kicks in.
Kind of melted to the cushion.
As this sort of starts to take over, one of the first things you see is the Braibath. So the creature that you guys faced You don't know if it's the same one or not, but you see one of these making it back to like one of the cave-like structures on the planet. So it's still kind of like that fleshy sort of like cave. But you can see there's a handful of the same creatures sort of like in a hibernative state.
Oh my god.
And you watch as this one goes and wakes up a couple of them as it goes to enter into its own hibernation state.
No! They're tapping out, tapping in.
It then kind of like switches, and all of a sudden you're seeing the OMAG in a firefight above Octurne, and you see a massive swarm vessel that looks to be almost the size of a planet. And it's charging up a massive laser weapon, and it seems to be pointed directly at the OMAG.
They have a fucking Death Star.
It doesn't quite look like the Death Star as far as like a circle. It's kind of got like a fleshy insectoid sort of like structure to it.
Oh, okay.
So it looks almost like a giant cockroach, like the size of a planet.
Sure.
So it even has like the feeler sort of like antennae coming off the front
looks
of the
like
ship.
a big germ almost.
Yeah. And this trip, since you kind of microdose, it's only about 5 or 10 minutes under it. What it ends off with is you see your old mentor, Benny Finch, as he is teaching you the ways of the black market.
Oh yeah, the guy we met with, right? Or no,
No,
that's
different. As you're kind of like seeing this memory almost from like an astral sort of projection, you notice there's a data pad on the table beside him as he's like teaching you, where you can see that he declined to sell you into slavery, which has accrued a bounty on his head.
Oh.
As your trip ends, at least for now.
When she comes out of her trip, can it be because I shocked her with my little fingertip?
If you would like it to be that.
Yeah, I'll shock her, so she makes like just make sure she comes back too.
This is a little jarring because it's almost like you were that last memory. You're like trying to pull on it to get additional information because like you've never seen the context you just saw, because like Benny goes missing later on, but you never knew why, and it seems like you now have context. And John sort of rips you out in the middle of it.
What did you see? What did you see?
Well, bad news bears, first of all. That these light eaters, or whatever they're called, that's more than one, and essentially like they're hibernating, and the one that just attacked us went and woke a few others up and went hibernated itself. So they're just like tapping each other in.
That's really good.
That's why they're getting stronger. I also saw that a big weapon was pointed at the OMAG, and the swarm was approaching. I also saw some more things about my past.
Interesting. Do you think if you take more, you can figure out the solution to this whole swarm thing?
I don't know. That's why I'm slowly taking more.
Yes. I think maybe it is a good thing to continue to experiment as I try to make another dose. Obviously, I will. You can make your own decisions.
Let's have a chat about also how you get me out of it. Maybe not a shock.
Okay, maybe a little bit of a tickle.
I don't know that either. I don't know what it should be. Maybe you are not the right person to do this.
No, trust me, I am the perfect trip sitter. I will totally make sure I wake you up in an appropriate manner next time.
Yeah, maybe like a feather on his face or something.
I can get a feather. So I just sort of gesture with the black Ichor towards you. And kind of let you do your thing. I don't want to, force your hand.
He's the person at the bar that's like, oh yeah, you could have another.
DM, does this like have any immediate side effects that it would like be not safe to take more than one dose back to back?
So far, you have taken such small doses that, as far as you can tell, there are no negative effects on the back end of it. But you haven't consumed more than like a teaspoon at a time, so like it's hard to judge what the repercussions are. You don't even have a good judge on like how much leads to how long of a trip. So it seems to be a ballpark of like 5 to 10 minutes currently with like your little fingertip, but it could be significantly longer with a larger dose. You just don't know.
Well, I'm a little scared to do any more than that.
Do it,
So
do
I'll
it. Do the heroic dose.
No, John. You are not a good trip sitter. I need to ask somebody else next
And
time.
you as well are not fun to trip sit.
It's like, I'll go find Glarb and we'll play with Gleam Gazer.
I guess I'll do one more fingertip dosing.
Okay. Once again, with this small dose, it doesn't seem to be too bad of like entry into it. It does seem like, because it's like on the tail end of having a previous dose, this one kind of kicks a little harder as far as like duration. So it ends up being closer to like an hour during this one. But during this hour, one of the things you see is what you presume to be the three-faced god. It's some being that has three separate faces, and it's kind of like a rotating head. But the perspective you have is like they're massive, because it appears like they're manipulating a pocket dimension. Because you can see like an artificial sun, and in the center of this little dimension is, as far as you can tell from previous images in like history books and stuff, is Galarian.
Oh shit.
It then kind of like switches, and you kind of like, you're blinded for a minute because there's this massive blinding light, and then you all of a sudden see the OMAG in a region of space you've never seen before. Basically, like, the way you can tell this is you're looking at like the stars around you is none of the stars line up with anything you've ever seen in the Pact Worlds or even in the Vesk Empire.
Oh shit.
So like you have no relation of where the OMAG is at this point in time.
But she's seen a vision of the OMAG by Galarian?
No, she saw a vision of the three-faced god
Oh.
manipulating a pocket dimension that housed Galarian.
Wow.
And the last one you get during this trip, you can see your parents, although they look older than what you remember them to be. And as far as you can tell from your brief experiences with John, it seems like they're on the planet Verces, on a decent beach home, and seeming to have a pretty good life.
Oh shit. I tickle her little forehead and ears with a white feather that came from like a goose pillow, stuffed pillow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wake up. I just keep saying that until she like opens her eyes.
Yes, thank you, John.
Right.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit different. I saw that three-faced god that we've, I think we thought did the drift or something.
Yes, I can recall.
I saw them manipulating the pocket dimension, so potentially creating a drift. I'm a little bit confused about the artificial sun Galarian part. And then I saw the OMAG more I've ever seen or heard of before.
Interesting. I wonder. what that could... Hey, well, if it was in the future, that could potentially mean we're all going to make it out just fine.
Hey, maybe that's my hope.
You didn't potentially see me in the future, did you?
You know, to be honest, I don't really even see myself or like any of us.
Oh, that's concerning. Wow, well, how do you feel? Are you doing good? Do you need to drink some water?
Yeah, I think I'm done with the trip since this one took me under longer. I'm worried it will be like double the time again, so maybe we'll come back to this in a minute.
Of course, and maybe next time I will be your trip sitter again. It's a learning process. If you don't agree, I would have to argue.
Sure, but I wish Raya was available.
Yes, I know kind of what you mean by that. Anyways, I gotta go update myself.
Okay, Elite. I know you had mentioned wanting to work out primarily. Previously, you had mentioned something about trying to potentially set up doomsday devices for the ships and the shipyards in case they turned on you.
Oh.
Is that still a thread that you were wanting to do?
Yeah, maybe. I forgot about it. Ryan forgot about it. That is. Also, just another thing, because I've been reviewing my stuff. I have a clock sword, and just so I'll be cranking that too, just so it's a mech. But doomsday device. Ooh, it's true. I want to try to do some reconnaissance, or like have some of our crew members do reconnaissance.
If you're going to be delving into the recon or even the manipulation of the vehicles here, is this something you were keeping to yourself, or would T be privy?
I would share it with the group. I wouldn't want to do this outside the groups.
T has a unique skill set that would be able to help you, and regardless of the party's intervention or not, it's fully down.
Perfect.
John is kind of, he doesn't care. If not, is on board, so.
So how we're going to do it for your reconnaissance piece, why don't you go ahead and describe a little bit of how you're wanting to go about the reconnaissance, and then we'll do a perception check to kind of like cover how well you're piecing together the location of the ships and all that jazz. How I envision this happening is this will be broken up into a series of different checks. So there will be checks to determine how well you make the explosive components or doomsday devices themselves, and it'll be a check for each one you create. So basically, how many successful checks will determine how many you can potentially get on ships. You'll have stealth checks to get onto the ships, and all of these can be done with assistance from other party members. And then the final check that you'll need to do is an engineering or a physical science one to basically install the doomsday device on the ship. So basically, you're going to have to do each of those checks. The only one that's a one-time is the perception. All the other ones are unique to each starship that you're trying to apply it to. Basically, just determining how many you could potentially have fail-safes in place.
So hear me out. Two things. I don't know how to go about this. That's the first. The second, I will not be doing this myself because I am trash at basically everything you just said.
I'm not stealth at all. I'm the opposite.
So my thought process is I'm working. I'm the idea man. I'm not the
executor.
Not the implementer, you know. So I guess, but first, before we get into this too much, what do we know? Like, what have been able to see as we've like just been able to walk through, like kind of be doing what our defensive mission and
Okay.
stuff?
Everybody
what
that's
have we been able to glimpse?
everybody that's wanting to participate in this whole plan, go ahead and give me perception rolls.
I would not participate. This is not. I'm not good with recon. I'm not the guy.
I don't know. It went pretty well with you and Delilah down in the black market.
18 out of 25.
Okay, perfect.
Guys,
I got a 17, which
Okay.
is not terrible.
No, that's good. I would consider those both passes. So for you, Elite, being a mercenary for hire, you're able to key in on kind of like the routine. It seems like the threat of people doing things once they're inside the compound is perceived as relatively low. Only people that are willing to help have been hired and even know about the location. So, like, security within the shipyards themselves seems to be low. It seems to be securities directed towards the exterior. So as far as you can tell, aside from like the actual engineers and whatnot working on the shipyards, there's not a whole lot around the ships themselves. You are able to key in on the fact that like it seems like at any point, if something out of the ordinary were to happen or be detected, that it's going to get reported to Ronin Steel immediately.
yeah.
For you, T, specifically, you're able to kind of key in on the specific like rotation of shifts for the engineers, and so you kind of got it down to like you're pretty confident of like the key times of like when you guys could get onto each of the ships, and if you like documented it. But it still is going to require a decent stealth roll to get on each of these ships, just because while you know the timeline of it, each ship is a different sort of timeline. So you're going to have you've kind of solidified that it's not going to be like you go out one evening and you get all 20 ships that are in the shipyards. You're going to have to probably do one at a time sort of approach. Maybe 2 or 3 in one evening, but it's going to be tough to make it happen.
So, I have a couple questions based on how spells react with mechanics of the game. The size tiny. Does that give any benefits to stealth?
I don't know mechanically if it does. I would say it does.
Like
I
lower
would-
DC type of thing, or
It depends on what you're stealthing from. If there's
Yeah.
biometric scanners around or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
how
I
big
was
they
going
are.
to say it really just depends on the scenario. I would say, based off of your perception check, getting onto the ship, tiny would probably help mechanically as far as like. I'm as a DM right now. I'm tossing it up either advantage or +4 on your roll. Once you get on the ship, though, that's where it gets a little hairy, just because you don't have any reconnaissance on the inside of any of the ships. You have a general idea of the design of the ships and where the best place to put the
could
devices.
I instead roll a smuggler's check to see if I would know the general layout of ships of this?
I was going to give it to you anyways, but
Ooh.
please give me one
Ooh,
because I'll give
that's-
you better.
That's cool. I like that.
That is a 27.
Wow.
Yeah, so your life as a free captain, you've encountered every single design that is currently in the shipyards.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So you're pretty familiar of like the locations of like the primary bulkheads inside the ships and where like the biggest stress points are going to be, as far as like if you put the doomsday device in this location, it's going to cause the biggest bang for its buck sort of thing. So like you basically you've not only been able to kind of like plan out the route on each ship to get to that location, but have a general idea of like some of the smugglers holds that typically are built in. They're not necessarily designed as smuggler holds, but could be used as fill-in spots to hide if things got hairy.
Telepathically, I'm going to relay this exact information into Elite
Cool.
If you were going to infiltrate, none of us are great with stealth, but I have ways of you getting around in the most optimal path forward. I can shrink you down to a very small size, and you can get around as if you were a rodent.
What? I mean, would that be shrinking the bomb down as well?
I would assume that the materials that he is holding...
Yeah, I would say anything that's on your person at the time of being shrunk would go with you.
But then would eventually not unshrink when after the spell, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
You would have to act fast, but with my knowledge of the ship's mechanics and layout, I think you can get there in time and place what you need. As far as any immediate effect, I realize I'm kind of amplified. I'm trying to make my voice more heard on the cam. The intent is to keep this conversation relatively hushed. Right?
Well, yeah, if you're doing the telepathic link, it's...
Oh, right. As far as any immediate effect, if push comes to shove, I can telekinetically control each of these machines and manipulate them myself. But I have to be able to touch them. So if you have anything you need to plant now, I would plant those and I will hide you the best I can and give you the best path forward.
I think we are on the makings of a good plan. And one of the key flaws is having me do anything. Okay, so...
Well, here's the thing. This was your idea.
Good point. Counter-offer. I'm not saying I'm the best to do it. We gotta... So I know we have several NPCs. I, Ryan, don't know the NPCs very well. Would any of them be kind of more geared to this stealth sort of thing?
To be honest with you, the people that are best suited are probably against this idea already.
I was going to say, you might be able to convince Oscar, who's an operative. I don't remember how good his stealth is. Give me just a sec.
Before I ask the rest of the free captains, and don't take this as me not wanting to be involved in this awesome plan. But what's the point? I have to be able to sell this, you know.
I didn't catch that part.
I have to be able to sell this.
What's the point?
Oh. The point? Yeah. I guess, well, the real point seems to us that is to save our own asses, and these guys parallel us, which seems like they will.
Good enough.
So, yeah, how does that affect the free captains, though? I don't know.
Hey, we're saving our own hide. We can spend this
We're saving our own hide, please help us.
NPC-wise, I don't know if any of the NPCs actually have better... It's going to be straight rolls for any of the free captains, folks.
So basically, meta-wise, the best thing I can do, because I only have a +2 to stealth, I can make your stealth check easier to make
By being small.
and give you a path of least resistance.
Which
I
is...
have a +1 outside of my power. I have a -2 in my power, but obviously when you're in the power. But I'm a +1 outside, so...
I would say, while we're mulling over the whole stealth thing, you guys don't have currently any doomsday devices. You're going to need to build them. So, like...
Yeah,
We're putting the cart before the wagon. I mean, the horse.
Well, if you don't have any horses and only wagons, you still have a problem.
My point stands.
Got all the king's men, but none of the horses.
Yeah.
That said, though, I think there could be more that we could add to this plan to be more beneficial, other than just a contingency. At this point, Delilah, did you share like your vision, or did you only share that with John?
So far I've only shared it with John, but there just hasn't been like I'm not like keeping it a secret per se. There just haven't been like eating together in the common area or whatever.
This kind of goes back to our conversation as the free captains earlier, Elite. I've been here before. What we have experienced so far has been tame, at least. I'm expecting things to get far worse. If things are going to get worse as I expect, let's prepare and make an exit, so if we do have to bamf out of here, we're not marked as traitors.
Ryan have no ideas. I don't know.
No, that is okay. I think we'll tackle this plan once we have more things we can add to it. If push comes to shove, I can help in a pinch, but I'll only be able to take 1 or 2 vessels with me.
Okay.
Maybe you could talk with John. He's been acting more chaotic recently.
Well, I think Elite has like all these things on his mind. He kind of still wants to try to do something about it because he doesn't like the idea of like just walking into a trap. But he also doesn't know exactly what to do about it, and he's hesitant to take actions that like we could get caught and have very serious repercussions. So
I support your plan, Elite. The only thing I will add, that the reason why we need much more in place, is that if we have to get out of here, I think we're just as fucked.
Yeah. Alright. Well, we have several days here, at any rate, so
That said,
we're gonna have to decide everything tonight.
Okay. If T is doing anything else tonight, he's going to try to do some strength training with Elite.
Cool. Okay. We'll hit that in just in a minute. John, anything for you during this 24-hour period?
Okay, outside of sleeping, or resting
And
rather.
trip sitting.
Yeah, and trip sitting. I think I can't remember what the conclusion was. Do we have the adequate equipment on our ship for me to do the testing I need?
Yeah, you just needed to go to set up the holodeck to be like an actual lab.
I will do such.
Okay.
I'm going to go full on chemist mode, and with the holodeck, I wanted to manifest some goggles I can put on that magnifies the size of my eyes.
Perfect.
Just for the look. I'm going to perform a series of tests on the black Ichor. Obviously, I know it has like hallucinogenic properties, but like get a good chemical makeup if it's possible, and then I want to see if those chemicals in a sort of backcountry alcohol distilling sort of way and is able to
Trying to find another liquor.
well, not that, but like if I can make the state of its matter change instead of goo into a gas.
Oh.
Because maybe instead of explosions for these doomsday devices, they're just like it's just an explosion of hallucinatory like gas.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and give me a life science roll.
Got it. Not the best. That's going to be a 15.
So what you're kind of able to gather is what's interesting with the Ichor itself, and is kind of leading onto the whole theory that the planet is actually like an embryo.
Yeah.
Is it has very strong biological properties to it. So if it's one of those, as John is studying it, if he didn't know better, he would think it's like the embryonic like fluid or like blood.
Oh, so it's like, okay.
So like while it's not quite those things, it's got enough similar properties that it seems like it really proving into the theory that the planet itself is a living creature, and this is just like a outlet of something from it.
Whether it's waste or whatever, it's some biological function of some kind.
As far as being able to change the consistency of it, on that revelation of it being like a biological discharge, you're not really able to figure out necessarily how to change it. You assume if you apply enough heat to it that you could probably vaporize it. You just don't know how much bang for your buck you would get by vaporizing it. So, in theory, you could run another test of like applying excessive heat to see if the gaseous version of it, one, how long the gas lasts, two, if it still has the same type of hallucinogenic properties once it, because you know how some chemical components change properties whenever it switches, so you don't know if these properties will hold true if it switches states.
Do I have the time for that?
Yeah, I would say during this 20, if you're only focused on the Ichor right now.
That's primarily my objective. I really want to try and see if there's anything I can use here.
Yeah, go ahead and give me another life science roll on the going down this whole like microwave emitter.
Once I discover the rabbit hole of this being biological, can I get Agnes? What's her name? Agnes, right?
Mm-hmm.
To assist me in my research.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys haven't talked much since you told her that she needed to look like a 50s wife.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm not going to address any of that, and this is strictly a professional meeting, so I will not be addressing any sort of interpersonal problems that we have.
What do you need, John?
Yes, Agnes, please. I am really getting somewhere. Don't mind the goo all over the face. Please come with me. Please. And I'll just kind of grab her by the wrist.
Okay, John.
You're the best, Aggie. And I would like assistance on this check, if you would mind, DM.
Yes, you can roll
even if it's reluctant, it still counts.
Oh!
Just in case. Okay, that's a 29 total, but that's a nat 20.
Oh, nice. Just to check.
Life science check.
Yeah, you rolled a crit.
You rolled a crit, and then he's like, just to check. You rolled it again. Like, what were you gonna get better than a crit?
Maybe 2 crits.
As you kind of get into here, Agnes is having you act like the lab is in fucking shambles because instead of like using one vial, cleaning it out, it's like just every time you do a test, you get a new vial every time. So like the sink's overflowing. So like Agnes is like helping clean up stuff as it, and also like being more precise in like the actual testing.
Agnes, I really think I'm onto something. Keep cleaning the vials.
You put it into like the microwave emitter. Essentially, what I'm portraying is like in Batman Begins, where they had like the emitter that caused all the like pipes to vaporize instantly, sort of thing.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
There's essentially like one of those that you have active with the vials, and once it vaporizes, you can tell that like it is a very, very thin gas. It seems almost like in the process of vaporizing, it ends up creating part gas, part solid. So like it leaves like a crusty sort of like hard, almost like rock on the bottom, and then there's a hint of the vapor. it seems like the piece of the vapor is like intensified, so like the concentration of the hallucinogenic stuff is stronger, but it's such a thin amount that your estimate is that you would need about a 10-to-1 ratio of the liquid to how much gas equivalent you're going to get out of it.
When I have that revelation, can I have like an explosion of smoke happen in front of my face? And I like turn around and say, "Eureka! I think I got it. We're gonna need more goo." And I will just end the scene there.
Perfect. To kind of finish it off, Ronan's remarks on needing to pierce the hole do come into mind. You know there are starship weapons that have hole-breaching properties to them. So essentially, you would need to kind of construct similar shells to that type of thing, where it would pierce the hole and then be able to release.
I see.
So it's kind of like a similar to what we were talking about the Doomsdays. It's going to be a series of like needing to construct the weapon itself, getting the vaporized Ichor component of it working as well, and then you would still have to fire and land a hit on the ship.
Okay, I realize we're still in the R&D phase, so I will just keep that in my notes. So the next time we're ready for manufacturing or fabricating of any kind,
Yep,
that component will be ready.
perfect. All right, any other things for this 24-hour period? Okay. I think we'll take a 5-10 minute break, and then we'll get into our next shift. Okay. As you guys are going to start the shift, me and my infinite wisdom did not, for both of you guys, I have added the necromancer to the shared, so if you want to pick up those potions if you're interested. And let me add this weapon.
I don't see the in the shared.
I literally just edited it.
Oh, let me refresh.
And that goes into inventory, right?
Yeah, inventory then shared.
So it should be in shared. From shared, you should be able to add it to your inventory. You guys will make your way over to the armory to pick up the light caster. This is that weapon that was used by Ronan Steele to combat the creature. This is one that you guys don't technically get to hold on to past the shift, but whoever would like, you could pick up. It's called the Lightcaster Brilliant. It's also in shared currently. It is a heavy weapon that shoots a light canister. Essentially, the big detriment to this one is the ammunition costs about 500,000 credits per shell.
Oh fuck! How many credits per shell?
500,000. So there's currently 10 shells in the weapon, and that's all that is left. The benefit it does have is if it crits, it will blind anybody within anybody that fails the reflex save within, and it's an explode weapon, so it does explosion damage within a 15-foot radius.
Wow.
But it is considered unwieldy, so whoever would like to pick this weapon up for this shift, go ahead and grab it out of the shared. That way you don't have to go search for it.
I am trying to grab it, but I don't. How do you pick it up, dude?
Is it
You
not?
just have to click on
You
it?
just add to your inventory just like you did the...
There's transfer.
That's right.
Oh.
And that's what you should do for the potion if you didn't already do that.
I did.
Just click on it. No. Those are that. Hit the little shotgun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I will look at that. So I saw it in action from our first shift, and I'll see that big puppy, and I'll just start sort of oiling at the mouth, and then for a brief moment, John will imagine himself as a large, his form has changed into a large cannon-sized gun. You know what I mean? And I just go ha 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 ha, and I will grab the light canister and wield it myself.
Perfect.
Did you say the effect of the necromancer?
We don't know until we use it.
Yeah, so I guess this has been a little bit. So how I changed it is you don't have to use any of the potions during the session, but the trade-off is you don't know the effect until at least one of you consumes it. At that point, you guys will know for the future. But at the moment, the Necromancer is one of the ones you do not know. There's a handful of others. So, Tucker, if there was any of those other drinks that you recall that you had that isn't currently in your inventory, feel free to go ahead and grab them. I feel like the Giant Bee should be in your inventory if you don't have it.
I did not pick that one up yet.
But I can't remember which other
I
ones.
just took it from him. I don't know if there's another one to take.
I can't remember.
Anyway.
I can add another one in if not.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I know there was like the My Tyrant. There's a couple other ones that are in there that no one claimed, but I don't know who they belong to. So I said last session, feel free to grab any of them, because it might be players that are currently inactive. So you could just go ahead and grab it so that the party has them as disposable, especially during this sort of like tower defense sequence of the campaign.
Of course.
The last little one before we get started with this shift, we currently have 4 players. Which 2 NPCs would you like to bring with you?
Is Reggie good now after getting a full night's rest?
Mm-hmm. He also got healed, so...
Well, I know, but like, I mean in an RP sense.
Yes, in an RP sense, yes, he's back up.
I will ask him to join.
Okay, so we're bringing Rejuvenor. Who would you like for your second? If you recall, the way I've done it is whichever NPCs bring with you can level up, essentially, from being out on quest with you. So whatever CR they currently, if they're not on par with the party, they will level up with each of these excursions. So Hargrove is now a CR6 character because he was active during the last encounter.
What CR was he when we found him?
5.
Oh, nice.
Reggie did not level up because he was already ahead of you guys. He was CR7. So.
I'll pull in the if anybody else wants to do it, go ahead. But I would like to pull in the free captains to get volunteers for the shift.
We only need 1 slot filled.
You've got...
my initial thought is to bring on Grim, but if anyone else wants to volunteer, we only need 1.
No, Captain, if that's what you want, that's what we got.
Okay. Grim Reaper, come with us.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Is that the ant one?
Grim Reaper, I threw it into the...
Oh, cool. Nice.
I think...
Fucking gross.
Yeah, he's like that ant-looking dude.
On stilts.
Well, I mean, that's... Yeah. Okay. As you guys start your shift, it's more or less how your last shift had started. It's kind of eerie. It seems like you guys have like the night shift essentially is like the twilight is starting to like set whenever you guys get outside, and it's getting progressively darker as your shift progresses. Not that it was super light to begin with, so but we'll say you guys have roughly 6-ish hours before kind of whatever I roll up this table would occur. So any RP that you would like during this time. This shift does not include any of the other mercenaries or Ronan Steele. He did the first shift with you guys, but is kind of letting you guys run the show unless you specifically request him to give you assistance or anything like that. So,
being able to take some time to have some mischievous planning and rigorous exercise, T's head is as clear as it has been, but only just slightly. That said, T has an idea. I don't recall the name of the apparitions that are attracted to the light. What's the name of that?
It is a bitch to pronounce. It's called a...
Give it your own!
So it's spelled Bryarvath. So I would say Bryarvath.
Oh, okay.
The Briarbath. Do I recall anything specific of this type of the Briarbath?
Give me a Life science roll.
Also been on point. 20 dirty.
Um, your group was lucky to only briefly encounter this, and it's partly because when you guys landed, it was all in escape pods, so the light source that you had was pretty minimal.
Okay.
So it was one of those while you were defending from some of the Oricons, um, or Oricorons, um, you eventually someone had pointed out some sort of like mirage sort of creature behind you, and because of how you had set it up, you had kind of like the escape pods in a ring, and then you would set up like makeshift barricades in the fronts to kind of ring yourselves in. These sort of like blinking lights was the only light source you had, and fortunately for you guys, you weren't able to like pinpoint its location, and it got close enough, consumed all the lights, putting you into complete darkness, and left. But you know that like the Oricorons backed off during this period of time. So even these other nightmare creatures
Oh, so
were
it's like
terrified.
an apex predator almost.
Mhm.
As T is beginning to kind of gather up the information he has with it, his voice drops a few octaves, keeping his form about the same, but the way we're going to defend our forces.
Oh!
If these creatures show up again, we are to turn off the lights at the camp. We're going to set up a cart with a beacon, and I will control it remotely to get them away from the camp. So, in meta terms, I would like to see if we can affix a strong light to a small craft that we can drive out, and I'd set up a signal to the other operatives within the camp to shut off all of the lights.
Give me a engineering check for that, Delilah or John, because you got you experienced the actual combat. Give me a intelligence or a life science check to recall what Ronan had specifically said about the creature.
At 20, so it's a 21 for engineering.
So T, you know from prior experience with kind of like haphazardly putting things together that putting like a strobe light or something other to like a small drone should be pretty easy. In fact, most drones have it attached, and being able to remotely pilot it, and you're fairly confident you can make this happen. So, like, as far as that's concerned, it shouldn't be an issue. What was that roll, John?
Hopefully, Delilah rolled better. I have a 13.
I didn't. Sorry. Something happened. I cut out for a little bit. What was I rolling for?
Either intelligence or life science.
Okay. Oh boy, 5.
Oh shit.
What was yours?
13.
John, when T brings up turning off all the lights, there's like in the back of your mind, there's like this light blinking. Like you should remember something that Ronan said about why you guys didn't turn out the light when you detected the creature, and just for the life of you, you can't recall why.
I think. Am I part of this conversation?
Yeah. T directed it, everybody.
He's pretty open with this.
Okay. First of all, is your demeanor still changed?
There's a certain intensity that has entered T's confidence, and it seems like it is bolstering his courage.
Okay, John doesn't pick up on that. He's not much of a people person, anyways. I just realized. So he doesn't. He just doesn't even acknowledge that anything has really changed with you. And I say, you know, there was something that Virgin Lizard said. Something about. It wasn't good to turn off all the lights for some reason, but I just can't remember what he said. That I don't. just know I think this is a good idea, but maybe it has a hole for reasons I can't remember or explain.
Grim, is there something I'm missing here?
Well, Captain, I would like to give you the details, but I wasn't on the first shift.
Rejuvenor, you, older brother, tell me, do you remember? As the player scrambles through all the NPCs.
Let's see what Rejuvenor's got. Yeah, John. If you remember that light attack, the light ray that knocked the wind out of half our crew,
Yes,
that only can happen in darkness. If it's bright light, it can't use that ability.
but will it want to shoot at us if funny-looking light thing flies away?
I guess it depends on how quickly the light gets out of the distance. If we still appear to be a threat whenever we initiate this plan.
I'm willing to take the gamble.
He seems really normal, and I like this plan.
Oh, man.
So let's talk about contingencies then. We need some way that we can drive these away so we're not a constant threat of barrage.
Well, if push comes to shove, I'll fucking blast them.
Contingency enough. We'll call you Contingency Plan B.
Cool. I'll call you.
God, all I can think of is The Office. Thank God. Or not Office, it's Grey's Anatomy. Because they're giving, like, nicknames to everybody that has to do with their sex life. The last one's like, and you'll be Eagle too. It's like, oh, thank God.
Well, that I love being a contingency plan.
Okay. Any other RP during this sort of like 6-hour window?
I'm tempted to pick Delilah's brain, but even though I am not much of a 2 reader, I can even understand that maybe Delilah needs a little bit more time before I pressure her to do more drugs.
Well,
So,
maybe not on shift either.
oh, well, of course, yes.
I would like to have a conversation with Grim. At this point, T has calmed down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a certain level of intensity, but his voice has kind of returned. But it seems like it's more based off of resolve to be the leader he had promised earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Grim, I realize this is your first shift out here, at least for this mission. Are you doing okay?
Kind of like puts his hand out, and there's just a smidgen of shake. Well, Captain, it's the conditions of this job are significantly better the last time we were out here, but as he kind of like gestures out towards the horizon. Now, granted, he can't see past where the bubble ends because it's pure blackness at that point. Even what little bit we can see, it's still unnerving. Like, that spot, when I look at it, is constantly moving. And I know that it shouldn't be, but it is.
It doesn't matter that we're more fortified here. Whether we're around barricades and strongholds, whether we're behind vessels that have provided a perimeter. There's no comfort. I can't hear or see anything. I can't tell if it's the nightmares that I've been living in that are tricking my mind, or if it's just my confidence wavering. I don't think that's fear, Chris.
Well, I would argue, Captain, that the only way to really truly prove that you're brave is to experience fear and still proceed forward. So I wouldn't try and say that you have no fear. It's acknowledging the fear and still doing it anyways.
T will ponder this for a moment and will ask a very directed question. The circumstance that we're in, the quest that we're on, and granted the hell that we are avoiding by being here, is Lovato someone we can trust?
John's been fucking wondering this the whole goddamn time.
The way I see it, Captain, is Levada, and to an extent any free captain worth their salt, is going to do what benefits them the most. Now, I'm not saying the Conquistador crew would turn on you, but if the hand is a losing hand and we had to jump ship, we would.
I would expect you to.
So, from what we've seen, is Levada has a soft spot for you at the very least, and has done more to warn you about the inner circle than literally anyone else. So I would say yes, we can trust Levada. Whether or not she will sacrifice herself for you, probably not. But she also isn't just going to let you die either. If she can help you without risking herself, she probably will.
The reason why I asked Grim.
Hold on 1 second. This is more important.
The reason why I asked Oscar. Do you believe I would do this to you? My opinion of you will not change regardless of your answer.
Well, Captain, I don't think this version of you would. But the version of you that was on the command deck whenever the Conquistador crashed or committed its self-destruct sequence, that one would, because he was going to do whatever it took to survive.
I'm glad you're here. Your opinion is important to me. Keep your eyes peeled. I sense something is coming.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the plague oozes. Those Orocorons, well, they were a bitch. You kind of knew what to expect with them, but that light creature and the plague oozes just... Ugh.
You should talk to John. I think he gets that feeling when you walk around.
Well, I don't think John felt comfortable on the Castrovel at all.
That's his planet, right?
Mm-hmm. The one with all the insects.
Oh yeah.
And at that point, T won't ignore conversation, but is like desperately putting every ounce of perception he can into either hearing or sight.
Okay.
I want to do a thing. It doesn't need to be extended. I will be quick.
Okay. Yeah. To be honest, I figured the 6-hour period is probably where we're going to end. So
okay.
there's no
I wasn't
worry
sure
about...
if you were trying to get to an encounter. My bad.
We will probably end with an encounter, but we're at like 10:10, so like I don't want to start an encounter at 10:30. So
yeah, remember that time we started a ship combat at like 10:20 or something like that? I just that was
Well, I think we started earlier than that, and it still took us like 2 hours to
That
finish
was
this.
like our first ship combat, so we were figuring it out.
I was like, oh, it's 1v1, it'll be fine, and then it was like 2 hours later, oh shit.
okay. So, in a narrative sense, is John aware of Elite's potential plan as his backup plan?
Elite, did you restrict on who you told? I'm almost positive you brought up the Doomsday Device plan in a group meeting. Were you being restrictive on who you told with the
I
updated?
restricted only to our party and our crew. But other than that, in my mind, everybody on our crew should at least know I had the idea. How committed to the idea?
No, dude, John is committed to the idea. You just don't know it
I'm
yet.
actively. I'd like to say I realize that this is like after the fact, but I would say the people of the free captains that are off shift are actively like tasked to figure out more.
Continue reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So with that being said, I want to briefly find Elite. And if he's like on a patrol, I'll just sort of like mosey up against him, and under my robotic voice, I will say, without looking over at Elite, just looking like a normal routine. Nothing crazy going on here. Ooh. Elite, I have potentially found what we should use as your plan B, and I will gesture to my person that you don't see it on me per se, but I will say I have done extensive research and more is to come, but I have been able to gasify this black goo and concentrate it. But from my discovery, I have learned that I'm going to need a lot more goo to vaporize into gas. So, if you're okay with moving away from the explosion, maybe this, instead of explosion, we have some sort of like plume cloud that makes everybody fucking lose their shit and they crash the ship anyways. What do you think?
First of all, do I know this goo? Is he talking about like the black Ichor?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Okay. No, not what I was intending.
Yeah, explosives are not my ordeal, to be honest. That's more of Raya's thing.
I mean, if we're gonna do this gas, they would have to expand and like expand out real quick.
Yes, the more
the
goo, the better. Yes, Agnes is ready to cook as soon as I get home. All I need is a green light from you, Elite.
I think keep working on it. I think it's got promise.
Excellent.
And if we don't use it here, then if we survive, it could be useful.
Hey, and I'll elbow you in the robotic side and say, just between you and me, and I'll like look around. I have a very reliable source that says they saw us in the future, so we are good. We're not gonna die.
While I was trip sitting, the person tripping said we would be cool.
Except they didn't.
So if you were feeling nervous, don't. And with that, I will. I will. I would. Okay. I would like to go to the river of black goo.
You'd like to go back out to the...
Yes, and I want to get as big of a sample that is appropriate for me to come back with.
Can I, when I see John trying to go out into the icky,
Yeah, I'm pulling like a crate or something from the table.
I would like to cast,
So just double check the range, because I think he has to be within 30 feet of you, right?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like at least 40 or 50 feet
I would
out,
hope
right?
I'd catch him like while he's walking through, like because my whole idea I was watching like Stalwart at the barricades. Would it be reasonable to say I'd see him walking out?
Yeah, I do it in front of everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable you'd see him. The reason why I bring up the 30 feet is you have to stay within 30 feet, so unless you're committing to go with him, because it's about 60 feet out from the bubble to the river.
Yeah, we gotta go out a little bit.
I'm sprinting as much as I can to try to get within about 25 feet of him.
When I see him sprinting, I'll try to like walk a little faster. Maybe he's like coming up to finally he's lost it finally, you know? No, I'm just kidding.
And like my antennae will start to glow and I'll like reach out my hand. T is going to cast Fluidity of Form.
Oh, your new spell!
I am going to imbue John with energy resistance, specifically giving him resistance to the hazardous environment of acid.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if that's applicable, but we'll see.
It was for the tumbleweeds. But
okay.
That's the best that I can give you. But
and T probably doesn't know what the fuck you're doing at this point. Just knows that you're going out. So.
But it lasts for 7 rounds, so you've effectively got a minute.
I only need 45 seconds.
So it won't help you from everything, but it should take down some of the damage you take.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, go ahead and give me your fortitude save.
Yes, please.
The way I'd like this to look, like a gaseous form is going to like shoot out in a jet stream, and it's going to coat his body, and it's going to become slightly transparent, absorbing part of the atmosphere.
Cool. What kind of save?
Fortitude.
Oh, that's good. That's 22.
Perfect. Are you sprinting out to the river?
I'm not going to like fuck around. If I can get to the river and see the large body of water, great. If I can't see the large body of water, fuck it.
Based off of how you guys are positioned, unless you guys move to the side of the compound,
okay, never mind.
But for the river itself, it's 60 feet, so I think you had 25 movement speed. So it's only like
at the end of a round, he can't keep the same benefit. So we can swap to growing additional legs to increase his movement speed, and then he can swap back to the acid resistance. So the way I'd like to see this is like as he's running and the energy resistance fades, he's going to like grow like 2 like smaller feet to the side of his boots that like act as like propellant.
Oh, perfect.
And just boost him forward. You get an additional 10 feet.
I will say I have jet dash the feet, which is when I'm running, I move 6 times my land speed.
Damn.
Does it cost you anything to activate them?
Let me see. It just said. Okay.
The only reason why I'm asking is I feel like we might have.
Oh, the only thing that I can see that is like a negative for this is. Oh, I don't gain the flat-footed condition. It just literally says when running.
Okay.
I don't know, dude.
No, the reason why I'm asking is just because I feel like you probably.
I don't know why I haven't thought about this before. But what does that mean? 6 times my movement speed?
Your land speed. Whenever you jump, when running, you move. So it's I guess specifically when running.
So it specifies land speed because it won't affect you while you're
flying or swimming.
Okay, so what I want this to...
Double the height, double the... I mean, you don't gain the flat footing. Okay, so I think this is like, in combat, this would be like the equivalent of you dashing. You get to dash 6 times your normal.
Okay, well...
This is like one of the mechanics of like, if you were doing like a long distance trek, if you were running, so like in this setting, 6 times your normal movement speed. So 25 by 6, so you're getting like...
You gotta add 10 and then times it by 6.
Well, regardless, what it looks like is I have like some jet afterburners that open up on the ass and the back thigh.
Yeah.
And what it looks like is like the visual effect that they achieved in Twilight with the run being pulled on the floor. So, like, every step I take is unrealistic.
It looks
to how
like you're
far
on
I
a
travel.
treadmill while the scenery's moving
Yeah,
beside you.
yeah.
Oh, so instead, I think I'll just the extra leg will just be another afterburner on your back.
Okay, cool. Just like a big old. Okay.
Perfect.
So I'm just gonna.
Okay, go ahead and give me a life science check for collecting your sample.
That's really good. That's super good. That's gonna be life science plus not 26.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you're able to get a decent amount. How much were you wanting to get?
Honestly, I don't know what I am filling for this. What's appropriate of size container? The biggest thing I got, even if it's just a big old bucket.
The thing that's coming to mind right now is like there's like it's kind of like your crates,
Sure.
like your storage crates. You
Sure.
took one of those out from the
Yes.
ship and like you dunked that bitch in the river. So it's like the cooler we have downstairs for the ice. You got one of those filled with Ichor, slapped the lid on it, and then came back. We'd say like the whole process here of loading that, sprinting out and then sprinting back, maybe just a couple minutes. So the speed boost and
yeah, on your way back, your resistance and your speed boost swapping off back and forth is going to be ended.
Hell yeah, that's as enough time as I need. It sounds like so.
Yeah, and meta wise for those that weren't here last session, outside the bubble, it's every 10 minutes is the check to see if the environment affects you. So like it's not a super consistent thing, but it's consistent enough that if you're spending too long out there, you're probably going to fail. Because like even John, who had a pretty decent fortitude save, ended up failing one eventually.
I have a preposterous strength, but the second I get into the bubble where everyone for sure can see me is when I'll struggle to like to try and give everyone the idea that I got a lot, you know?
Upselling it.
Yeah. But that's it for me.
Perfect.
Nice. That was awesome.
All right. Anybody else during this 6-hour period?
What about you, my love?
I don't know if it really needs to be talked about a whole lot right now, but Elite would mostly just, while he's doing patrols and things, he's just looking at terrain and everything set up, trying to like understand tactical and strategic like layouts and things he can utilize in a fight, both to like for him to fight from and also key points that can help like funnel choke points or that sort of thing, or just land to help like trip people up.
What does your engineering score look like?
+5.
Yeah. Let me look at.
It's for him. I would say it's mostly off of like, if I could say profession bodyguard.
Oh.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
what he's working on.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like he is understanding like what do I have to work with? What are the like also the negatives? I can't think of words right now. But,
Sure, we're all smelling what you're stepping in.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me your profession roll.
That's not excellent. On the dial, that's just a dirty 20.
Oh,
Hey, not
nice.
excellent, he says.
Not excellent.
I rolled a 6.
What?
I have a +14.
Jesus.
Jeez, nice. Yeah.
I am a one-trick.
Yeah. So, as you're kind of comparing your past experiences with how this one's kind of set up, you're like, obviously this location is not set up this, which is kind of surprising. You kind of piece together that like it's kind of weird that Ronan Steele, with what you know of him being part of the inner circle and him not having bodyguards with him regularly, seems abnormal, even if he is like this elite soldier.
Interesting.
It seems like he is just so confident, or he's so focused on the mission here that he's not worried about it. So from like your previous profession, you're like, this is the location of like if I was an assassin sent after someone, this is like the time I would go after this particular inner circle member. You don't know if that's you just not reading the situation correctly, but you're fairly confident it's just Ronan is either preoccupied with defending the shipyards or so full of himself that he doesn't feel like he needs bodyguards. And then just as FYI, you'll need another 4 of those to boost this particular skill if that's a thing that you're interested in. But
Okay.
anything for you, Delilah?
Yes, Delilah. Let's hear what you got. Let's hear what you got before we end it all.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
We're still on patrol. I can't be doing trips
Drugs.
right now.
You do whatever. You just have to be drug related per se. It doesn't matter. That's fine.
Yeah,
There's
no.
not a lot of shinies out here, and it's the wrong time for drugs.
And she already had her heart-to-heart with T earlier,
Yeah.
and he was...
Yeah,
I'll let you know.
I was a dick player. I'm sorry.
Okay. Everybody give me a perception check.
Oh boy. This is one of my worst rolls.
Perfect.
Should I argue advantage for actively trying to
Yeah,
doing this?
Elite and T, both of you can roll disadvantage because you both have vocalized actively checking the horizon on a regular basis.
Thank God for advantage. Wow. Perception is 28.
Wow.
That would have
Nice.
been a 13.
Nice.
14 for me.
Okay.
I got a 26, but it was a natural 20.
Oh my god! Dude, we've had like 3
I was going to
20s
say, you
tonight.
guys have been rolling impeccable
Because I rolled
tonight.
2 on the
Oh
advantage
shit.
roll.
Jesus.
Okay, what was yours, Delilah?
Oh, sorry. What was I rolling for?
Perception.
We're about to see a big bad.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was only for those who were like specifically looking.
Oh, we
I
just
just
got
my
advantage.
dice. Hold on.
Okay.
Also, I have dark vision. Just throwing that out there.
Ooh, nat
60.
20 with dark vision?
Perfect.
Yep.
Man, my rolls are shit tonight. 14.
That was
Okay.
forever ago.
All of you would be able to pick this up eventually. For Elite and T, what was yours?
14, same as Delilah.
Okay. For Elite and T, you guys pick up on this a little bit further in advance. You'll see 3 of these creatures kind of walking up towards the bubble.
We've seen those before.
Yeah, they're Orocorons.
Yes.
So they basically what the Ichor King is, just not fully evolved like he is.
Right.
Approaching the bubble, John and Delilah, you pick up on it basically after T and Elite kind of pointed out. You know they're not the most aggressive or most dangerous creatures on the planet, but they are fairly common, and they have a tendency to swarm. So seeing 3 of them grouped up like this isn't
Not good.
uncommon.
Not a good sign.
But with seeing them, that is where we will end
Oh shit!
tonight's
We don't
session.
even see the threat. Just the storm before it all.